Hi, good morning. Today is a Saturday, right? It's a beautiful Saturday. So at this hour, it's actually 11 a.m. Why 11 a.m.? A lot of people say it's brunch. And in the good old days, actually, there's no such thing as brunch. There's only breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And brunch is because a lot of people stay up later, and the next thing actually, by the time wake up, it's already 10 o'clock, and it's 11. So 11 is considered brunch. So today actually I'm also very thankful to Arc1969 to give me the opportunity and also give me such a nice environment loft to actually show and share about this food photography, which is very close to my heart. And in fact, not really close to my heart, it's close to my stomach. So in fact I love food. And food is very interesting. It's like how we interact with food. It's actually it's a company also. The people you go to, you meet, also play a part of what kind of food you eat. And in the banking days itself, I do a lot of partnership with hotel, restaurant, which I also get exposed to different kind of cuisine. And in fact, all the chef was sharing that in fact, the meat itself or even the shark fin itself, right, can be tasteless, or even the bird nest is tasteless. It's how the chef put in the effort to actually cook and season and use the wok and all this to actually create the dish itself. And eventually, that's why we able to see a dish that is called 色香味俱全. Four senses actually be able to see of the food that's being created, especially in Asian cuisine and in fact in local dishes. A lot of local dishes that you can see here. It's a very good spread, and in fact, must thank to the boss, Delight Bakers. So actually, he's a young entrepreneur where it's a second generation. So I put to met him and say I also take some local dishes and support the local. And say, hey, what's your signature kueh, or what are your signature dishes? And I texted him yesterday, and this morning itself, he already prepared, messaged me early at 3:30 a.m. They say that I'm preparing it and put in the box for me. And this is a creation that I didn't expect so many, but it's good. Because at the end of the day, as a food photography itself, variation play a part and color play a part. And I like the kueh itself. There's so many different color variation. Where when I was childhood, I like the chao teng kueh. It's 9 layers of color. So every layer you feel, it's not just one chunk, it's one layer. So as a food photography itself, you must understand the subject. You must love the subject. It's like whether you are shooting a model, a couple, a wedding couple, a landscape, a building, you must enjoy the environment, love the subject. So the food itself, every single detail, and pardon me, because there's so many kueh, there's a lot of names here. Some I may not be able to articulate, but you can always go to his website later on to actually find out more. But itself, these are the good variations. So in food photography itself, a lot of time that I even learn from different food photographer, and compared to the good old days where if we need something, we either go to the library to look for reference book, or we buy a lot of photography magazine that to do reference, or even my younger days itself, I love to read 8 days. So 8 days, there's always sessions about food. And always Sunday Times, I also love to read Sunday Times. There's always a lot of good editors that actually talk about the food and they shoot very nice picture, even the Chao Pao. So food itself is actually since young, I've been influenced by my parents, my grandparents. In fact, my grandmother is actually a hawker and she sells chubby hoon. So before Hubley started, right, she's actually in the Ju Seng Hu is actually one of the famous hawker that actually sells chubby hoon. And one packet is only 50 cents. So she really put a lot of effort in cooking it and the ingredient of peanut, and you can see a lot of effort can from the day of morning start at 4:30, jam moi, then ready to go to the shop. The next thing actually prepare, then afternoon finish ready, cutting all the chili, prepare all the sauce. So a lot of effort put in. So to me, I always feel that as local itself, we ought to promote local dishes, ought to support the local and even hawker itself, even like local dishes. So a lot of people, if you don't really understand it, yeah. So the key thing is really, we always say good to actually understand the subject, and we always say good to actually, in fact, from the perspective of if you love food, you want to capture it properly. And same thing, if those that just came into the live, FB Live at Fear.1969, today we're actually sharing about food photography. It's focusing on local kueh. So local kueh itself, in fact, it is very colorful. So just now I just shared earlier, this is actually the young entrepreneur that I got the Kueh from Delight Bakers. So you want to find out more, the website got a lot of details. So to focus on the food itself, we always say food photography is about a few things. Love the subject. The next thing actually in terms of loving the subject, like I share, even I take out and Kueh, there's different layers. So you know the subject. The next thing is same as model, you know the angle. Angle of the food play a part. Then the next thing actually, in fact, when you want to shoot, you want to create what kind of vision. So thanks to my mom, and I appreciate it for her in supporting all these things that I've been very passionate in doing. So this is actually from her kitchen. I brought all the way, it's very, very heavy. I think for the last 30, 40 years already, still very well used. So I want to create old school. I want to create traditional handmade kueh itself to remind people that this kueh, although it's actually now it's made in the factory, but the ingredient, the recipe still started from the father, the founder that actually started from the hand before come out the machine. So these are all the accessories. So for my mom, last time in fact when I talk about today I'm doing the kueh, so she say, what, yeah, more. So she actually passed me this mold that she kept for so many years. Last time when we were young, she make all this pen kueh, ang ku kueh, and all this plate itself, right? Also, it's a collection. So in fact, when after slightly more, it was come from this kind of vintage kueh. It happened to be in one of the pasar malam when she was shopping that time in the street of hawker. She found this plate and she find very nice. Straight away she sapo five. I said you should have sapo more. But really must thank her that actually she keep all these things and in fact it can be my prop. So the fourth thing about food photography, after the angle, the background, is the prop. So the props actually tell a story. So we always say, facts tell, story tell. So key thing is actually we have all the props. So to zoom in, now looking at the time itself, right, and the dish itself, we got quite a number of time that we can play with. So what today you'll be seeing is not me using a DSLR. So of course, they can say a lot of magazine, food photography. We really must respect those people that really commit the time and they are the full-time commercial food photography. And food photography is also got food styling. So it's another rule of people that actually we must respect. But come to a scenario where we're talking about shooting for Instagram, shooting for actually a lifestyle that we actually go and eat some food, and we see so many occasions where we find very wasted that somebody go to enjoy a food. Then the next thing actually he shoot the pictures with a very high-end phone, but the picture turned out so. Then he actually post on Facebook saying, hey, this food is so nice that you all must go and visit. To me, it's actually, in fact, it can put another step. So, which is what today we are learning, or we are learning together. So, it's like if we can actually enhance the picture by getting the right angle, getting the right, the composition itself, then you create the story of the food itself. Then, in fact, you're promoting the chef or the cook in the hawker that put in so much effort and the dish is created and you capture it nicely. Of course, got some people say, I like to shoot everything raw, no editing. Some people even put in their Facebook, non-editing. To me, actually, if every picture just put in a bit of effort in terms of simple brightening, color, contrast, it still be as not original because when you say not original and not manipulative, means if there's nothing here, you start adding something here, adding another fork and spoon here without something. So we can say this is layout, this is graphic, it's not photography. A good photographer itself, it should start from the end in mind. If you feel that the picture, you want to tell a story, you must also sketch up. So to me, actually, in my mind, I'll just sketch out some of the things in terms of what I want to lay out. And a lot of things we can start with is actually the angle. So from here, I'll straight to the food photography. So later part, I'll use my phone. This is another Samsung phone. So if you have an Android, Apple phone, any phone, because my teacher that I learned from photography, the best camera is the phone, is the camera that with you. In the good old days itself, of course, you must bring your camera around to start shooting street photography, food photography. But now, smartphone is getting better and better that it's always in your hand. And you won't miss the moment. That's why my company I even call moments by Edmund. So every moment it can be captured in the phone. So later part I'll actually use my phone. You can see from my phone to zoom in to see what my area of looking at composition and the picture itself. But now I'll do the placement. So you can see still at this view itself. So I'll select So there's different shape and sizes. So from this itself, right, I start thinking, okay, if this chopping board is round, so maybe I should start something that actually is round or oval shape to complete it. And to complete next thing actually, maybe a plate that is also round is equally interesting. So by looking at this variation, I'll start with the Kueh. Partly because Kueh is the name that always I remember more, and even my mom last time we used to do it herself. So there's a few variations. So I'll take the red color. I'll do the placement. Okay. So there's purple. So the color of this you must also make a good uh, differentiation. Okay. While I'm actually doing, I also start thinking about what is the next pictures and what are the things that we can actually conceptualize it. Okay. 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 Still adjusting because nowadays the angle, the plan view, the side view, all these actually depend on how we play. So it's a very simple setup. So as much as I always say when we go to hawker or go to some place to eat, the key thing actually it should not be we can say affecting your friends and your companion eating together. So that means to take a photo shoot itself, after learning all the basic itself, right, it should be as simple as 3 minutes, 5 minutes to take a pictures and move on. And to me, okay, this is what I want to place it. Okay, so round, the color, this also round at the same time. And the best part is actually also very thankful that this loft area, we got this nice bench. And the bench color background is already very woody, it felt, itself, that show very old school. Okay, so the next thing is, this is actually just directly shoot from here. Okay, I'll start using my this phone to go into the actual view that y'all can view from the what I'm seeing. Okay, let me switch the zoom to the share view. Wait can you all help me? The can only the host can only share the meeting. I can't share the page now. Okay, give me a minute because as much as oh it's okay already. Good. Okay, so this view you all should be seeing what. Wait okay. Okay, so from here itself, you can see what is actually I'm seeing from the view of my phone. So I start up. See, from this view itself, right, from the circle that I already decided in my conceptualization, the round, the plate, the oval shape of the this Uncle Kueh itself, right, it's already got a concept. Okay, so the next thing actually, as a food photographer, you start exploring which angle of the kueh look the best, similar to a model. Some people say left view is nicer, some people right view is nicer. Some people actually, of course, you can say double chin, you must actually shoot from the top down. So same thing for food itself, you can move around. So you can see from my phone itself, there's different angle that we want to choose. So most common that we can shoot is actually in fact the top view. So top view is very simple, to the point. Yet I also learned from a Canon photographer recently when he shared during the TV period in one of the sessions, the Canon sharing session. That if you want to shoot everything from detail, from the top, it's like pizza. You know, shoot from the pizza is plan. The plan view of the pizza is what you want to see all the ingredients. That's why you shoot from the top view. So to me, the texture, even the imprint of this mold itself, right, imprinted onto here, all these are the different texture. So it's important to show the plan view of this angle to show the this Uncle Kueh itself. So I'll do my click now. Later, you all got a chance to actually see how I edit the picture after this taken. Okay? Okay. Zoom in a bit more. So sometimes we always say less is more. We can also crop. We no need to show all because as you can see, there's two red, there's two purple, and and one green. So even if I were to go so close, crop away the other red, it's alright. Because nowadays you need to show everything. You show everything, a lot of people picture is actually they shoot everything. Then the key thing actually you lost the focus. So it's like crop is important, but you want to shoot wide, make sure you got more props to tell a story. That's why you go wide. If not, you should go zoom. So another zoom actually I look at it. Okay, this one can be quite nice, this angle. Okay. Same thing I can rotate. The show, the 字 also play a part. Don't forgetting the word. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So these two shots that I've taken is plan view directly. Another angle that I'm looking at, that's why in photography, angle is very interesting and very fun because everybody looking at the same food got different angle of taking a picture. Some people may go as low, so it can be as low as look at this thing. See, you look at the texture of the food itself. Yeah. So this is another way of showing the kueh. So you can rotate a bit more. Yeah. See? Okay. So another angle again. I'm actually using the side light over here, which is actually the ring flash. So the ring flash give me the side lighting, right? They actually eliminated this whole thing. So same thing again, without doing too much in terms of setting up the props again, you just play around with the angle, move around the subject, love the subject, and you know that this show 这个字 is always protruding out, right? Then you want to enhance that actually this Uncle Kueh, there's always certain celebration, whether is it for a baby newborn or ready for a birthday for an old senior family member, or just a simple occasion that actually a gathering or reunion. So done. Okay, so from here, okay, I'll go into my snap seed. So these three pictures taken is actually can be very simple, but the key thing actually we want to enhance it not by manipulating it, but by getting the right color out of it. So like I shared even like yesterday in the portrait photography, we can say in the old days we use we can say use dark room. So a picture to develop from nothing to something from the film and use the chemical to process it. Eventually the picture come out is in the dark room. Then in the modern days we actually using computer, we use Lightroom. And in the phone which is always on the go, of course there's always Lightroom app. But to me, I personally I like Snapseed. So Snapseed itself, this is how I'll show to go in. Okay, Snapseed. So currently, Snapseed is still free. So I would suggest that you all should download. And when future series of food photography, portrait photography, I will still use the Snapseed. So you all won't actually miss out. And this will be very functional and very useful when you actually, after learning, you start using it very easily. So 4 steps. Okay, first thing. Okay, just now what we see, this kueh itself. From this angle that I shot, we can say, okay, color is there, the rounding is there, but there's a lot of space because the camera itself is full length, so it's actually very long. So in fact, you want to use it for Instagram, either you got to crop or you got to have two sides to actually duplicate the picture. But if not, the next thing actually you crop later on. But the 4th step is actually go to the tools under Snapseed. Okay. So far, my method is actually still go through drama. Whether food photography, landscape photography, portrait, same thing. Drama to control the contrast to bring out the subject. You can see from here. At one glance itself, right, some people say, hey, the drama look, the food like a bit moldy, but don't worry, it actually creates the mood first, the contrast itself, you actually tune it. And this is what we call filter strength. So if you look at my camera, look at my phone, I can actually slide the strength. The lesser the strength, the less in a way contrast of the picture. So we put more, very more contrast, but the color still a bit off tone. But don't worry, within the same app itself, right? The same function, there's always a saturation. But I'm not using this saturation here. So what I'll do is actually I'll put a tick. Yes. Then I'll actually go to tool again. Then the top left hand corner, which is the still image. This still image itself is like a normal way of brightening a picture. So they got different function. One is actually brightening. So when you use drama, a lot of time it contrast, you darken the sound of the picture by 1 or 2 stops. So you can actually brighten a bit more, okay, so that the subject can still be brightened a bit. The next thing is actually contrast. So to me, I like contrast a lot because I like contrast bring out the sharpness of certain subject, whether is it a model, landscape, or couple, or even the food itself. So contrast fair bit. Same thing again, I can show you how much contrast if you overdo it. See, this is actually overdo it. Some people, where their app itself or where the phone itself is actually got their own function, they just think maybe vivid or colorful saturation. It becomes this way, and this one doesn't do too much justice to the food that created. Imagine the food is actually with the right color, not the key thing that look a bit so plasticky, right? Look at the picture. So just adjust to the way that you feel that normal people look at it, but you look at it, it's like how you look at a magazine pictures to look like from shooting from a studio, yet now it's in your hand. It's in the phone, it's in the apps. Okay, so contrast, I normally put around 25, 30. Okay, so I put 30. Okay. The next thing actually, saturation. Saturation is the good thing is actually you can bring out the true color. So if a carrot is orange, make sure it's orange. Not because you take the picture and a lot of time you take the picture, not that the camera is no good, but because of the density, we can say intensity of the lighting, the source, the lighting, the side lighting, and also the ambient light. It's actually maybe also flare of light will change the color. But when the phone is now in control again, you can put back the color of what the actual subject of the food again, this kueh. So see the color? See, it's too much. The red, look at the red, it's like chili red. Can't be a chili red of a kueh itself. Let me just change a bit more. Okay, so you can see the color is there already. Okay. I put around 50, 55. Some depend on the color and the subject, you can push slightly higher. The fourth thing that I like about this current function, this new image, is actually the ambient. Ambient is actually, in fact, where last time, if we don't have a lot of reflector, we may get a cardboard. We put reflector to bounce off the light. We may actually do something to bounce off the light. Yeah. So now itself, right? Last time you could use this card, white card to bounce the light. Then maybe actually you put another slide to bounce. So it's like it's reflective of the sun ray. Example, the window light come over here and cast it into the shadow area to eliminate it. But thankfully, because of the ambient function that we have here, okay, the key thing actually you can just go to ambient, okay, get back the shadow area to brighten it. Okay, you can see my phone, you brighten it too much, not brighten it, you can maybe just a simple focus on the word show, like a center the green color one. With ambient enhance a bit and without. This is actually without. You enhance a bit, okay, the shadow of the show at least is clearer. The shadow actually being so-called eliminated. So what you can see here, if you are satisfied, then you actually click on the tick. If not, another one that of course the other time I didn't highlight more is actually there's also highlight, shadow, and warmth. I'll go into the word warm. This function warm. Warm itself, right? You can add up to a mood. Some picture actually you got this cool blue look to make it actually very chill. And certain food you may put the blue tint, it may look nice, but certain food actually very weird to put blue. So the warmness of the food itself, you can always turn the saturation to a bit more warm. So warm means a bit yellowish, a bit more warm color, golden color. So just shift a bit, okay, control a bit, not too much. And this actually to me is good enough to I just use 5 warm. That's why I seldom use the warm part unless I want to enhance the picture. Even the sunset picture. You use the same warmness, you can enhance the sunset to be slightly more orangey. Okay? So the next step. So we got drama already. then still image. The next step actually in fact is lens blur. So lens blur is like compared to the DSLR, of course we're using aperture. So aperture 2.8, so-called, we can say blur the subject, only sharpen what you want to focus. Behind it's all blur. Then use aperture f16, it's like shooting landscape. Foreground, background, let's say you want to shoot the parliament building, with foreground, background, everything sharp. Then you of course push higher, can go up to f22. But on the phone itself, maybe on my phone, but other phone may have a function called professional phone. You can change the aperture, but most of the phone don't have. Just use the lens blur. So itself, what you can see, go back to my camera again. Okay, the camera view. So here, because it's a round thing and the key thing actually the lens blur also is a round format. Straight away, you can make it bigger, over, smaller. So I focus on back on the Kueh itself. The rest is not the most critical. So the key thing you can see three ring layer. So by adjusting the back of the last layer of the ring, you can see the blurriness. This is how blur can it be? Not blur like Sotong, but how blur the picture can be so that the focus is on the subject. But at one glance, not for not sure about yourself, but to me it's actually in fact it's a bit over. So it's a bit like unless you want to show that this actually is shooting somewhere of very greasy tinted glass, then you look down, then it's like that. But it's not a normal. You should still show a bit of the chopping board, the texture, but the remaining of the tabletop, I don't need to show so much detail. So imagine I show detail of the tabletop. It can be as sharp as this tabletop, but to make it blur, I concentrate the outer ring. Why I emphasize this session to highlight more of the snapseed and the function step by step, because earlier got friends that PM me or even share with me that Edmund, you go too fast already. When you do your photo shoot, the angle I know, but when you go to the snapseed itself, you familiar, but a lot of people don't know. So I go through the step by step, and now because we got time, we go through the right method. Okay, so this sliding, now the blur, we can say is done and quite comfortable. But the key thing actually, we always say less is more. So always this also remind myself. A lot of time, even when you talk, you may talk too much. We will say 重点. So when you say 重点, same as the food. If the top and bottom is not the most critical to show what you're trying to show about this Uncle Kueh itself, right? The next thing actually, you do the crop. Okay, so crop. Whether you want to keep the roundness of the chopping board, this is how the crop look like. So to me, actually, in fact, it can still be better because, of course, you want to show the round, but it may not be the three layer of round, the chopping board round, the plate round, the Uncle Kueh a bit over, but you can go slightly crop even narrower. So the focus is still back to the Uncle Kueh. So the key thing is, okay, so we can say not the most ideal yet. You can play around as long as you feel comfortable. Okay, so this is actually, in fact, I would still even want to go closer. So some people say, then in that case, your chopping board don't play a part. Initially, you wanted the round, but the texture. Don't not forgetting the texture. So you keep the texture because it's actually a bit of woody color. That's why the Uncle Kueh stand out. Imagine I use a modern chopping board, the green color, red color chopping board. This thing would be no contrast. So it's actually more or less capture what I want to capture, I want to present in my Instagram or to share with somebody that hey, they have not eat the Uncle Kueh, or even overseas friend that what is Uncle Kueh? So I can share with them this picture, take within the 3 minutes, hope send to them. Okay. Lastly, vignette. Vignette is actually like I share in the movie cinema, a lot of times the four corners, a bit of vignette. And last time you can say if your lens put didn't put properly, you got vignette. But sometimes pictures turn out pretty well because the focus is actually back to the subject. Go back my phone again, I adjust the vignette. So imagine you put too much of the vignette, it becomes a bit like abstract pop-up art. Some people say, hey, not bad, but this thing go natural. Go think a bit to your eyes. So adjust a bit, okay? But just a bit of four corner, so the focus is still back to the Uncle Kueh. Then we can say, done. Okay? So same thing, save. And That's what we done for this plan view. Another view, I'll go slightly faster because I also want to show another view kueh that is different shape. Okay, this view itself when we talk about the close up. Okay, let me choose. Okay, this view. Okay, this view is actually the side view of the food. So just now what we did earlier, in fact we can use the last edit, which is you can see on the bottom, last edit, to to enhance what I've been using earlier. Okay, but I'll still go back to fix that so that y'all will actually get a good reminder, and also at the same time I can also play around with the color again. So same thing again, drama, don't be worried, it's like that one. Okay, then 90. Next thing is actually go back to the new image, brighten a bit more. See the thousand color won't be there already. Just brighten a bit more. Go faster already. Contrast, saturation, bring out the red, the green. Ambient, take out the shadow, enhance on this background. And the next thing actually, you want to put some warmth, okay, put some warmness to it. So we are done. This thing actually, go back to lens blur. So now actually, in fact, I just want to focus on the green color, the 寿字 and the Kueh. The rest of the Kueh is still important, but not the key subject. So just shift a bit more. Close up. Okay. So the key thing is vignette. Okay. Then the last thing is crop. Because at the end of the day, whether is it for Instagram or for the picture itself, less is more. So less is more. We crop things that we would find that is not important. Even you feel that the whole Ang Ku Kueh is important, it's okay to crop it. So just show half Ang Ku Kueh. So that the 寿字 will be the 1/3 rule on the top right. So like that, okay, make it more squarish, which is the Instagram. So like that, it's done. See, this is actually, in fact, it's very simple. Any one of us, after learning this thing, can enhance the picture, brighten the picture, to bring out the color, at the same time, crop those things that are actually not necessary and bring out the subject. It may not be the best commercial picture that we want to show the whole world or show his friend, but at least we put the heart of what the owner or the chef and the cook put the heart in making the thing. So for us, we just make a bit of heart and some effort. And if you know this whole step seed and the whole angle, all this can be really as simple as 3 minutes. So you will follow my Facebook itself. A lot of pictures, in fact. I tell my friend, okay, just give me 2 minutes, 3 minutes, then we can eat together. I don't want them to wait for me. By the time I post all this, the food already cold already. Then to them actually, coming out with you, is it fun to eat together? But food's supposed to be fun and enjoyable together. So we also must be considerate. So the more that we practice, the more we actually use, the more that we actually are able to capture it nicely, post processing at the same time, all the pictures will turn out very, very interestingly nice. Okay? So continuation. The next one is actually, in fact, I'll go into this Ang Ku Kueh. I'll still leave this one here, so can use it as the background, but still think about what are the angle first. Okay? So some people will say, okay, this plate also quite interesting. Got a bit of purple, got some flower, so that I can actually spread out the whole Ang Ku Kueh. As much as this is so nice and I don't want to touch, but it's only right that you want to shoot something, you must really take out the plastic so that you can see the actual texture. Okay? So this is actually how it's being wrapped. See, every single piece is being wrapped, so a lot of effort put in. So here, the layer that you can see the different layer, different color. It's so colorful. It's a rainbow. It's Ang Ku Kueh. So put it. Okay. Okay. There's very variation. Okay. Because there's so many color, but interestingly, all is actually quite a rectangular shape itself. So why not I do it as a design and put all together to showcase to our friend that this is actually our local kueh. And you can say it can be started from the Nyonya. Nyonya actually is like Peranakan. So Peranakan is like Chinese marry a local Malay back then. So we actually got Peranakan. Or we can say the culture is a bit of mix of Chinese culture and Malay culture. So this kueh actually, in fact, a lot is actually from Peranakan. So now I got 3. In terms of photography itself, right, odd number always look more interesting. Four even number doesn't look so outstanding. So 3, 5, or 1. This is my perspective of what I actually read and been through and all the experience. 3 or 5. So I still try to use 3 first, okay? So 3. Okay, from this texture itself, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So now I got to speed up because the next session we have another one. It's about food. It's actually Jeff cooking mama. So everybody has been if those who are following, I also been following. The Jeff cooking mama also very interesting in terms of really share with us how to cook. So to speed up my process, okay. So just now I try to lay out straight, but I want to show texture and I want to show the different these 3 different kuehs. So I stack up. Okay. That's why a lot of time in the commercial photography itself, right? A lot of food that you see, it will not be eaten after taken because you use a lot of hand, got a lot of other changes and touch at the same time. So unless the person that touch and you eat out yourself, then still okay. Okay. So okay, in view of the time and looking at this texture, it can still be better, but I think I will cut down the. Okay, these are props also. So props is so important. Props actually can be as your hand. Props can be a spoon. Props can be additional side dishes. Props can also be like this kind of mold. So itself, this fork itself is a prop that I'm using. At the same time, also try to elevate this Uncle Kueh because if not, it's all flattened down. Okay, we can say a lot of time this will be like okay, see, every layer play a part. Okay. Okay, I think I decided to put it flat for the Ang Ku Kueh because I still want to see the layer itself. 九层糕, 对, the 九层糕. Yeah, so you can see from here, this is the view. Okay, so this is what I'll be taking. I'll zoom into my camera again. I'll share my screen. So what you're seeing is actually what I'm seeing from this view. Okay, I go to my camera. Okay, so we can say if without the spoon itself, right, the slightly something missing. Also, it's like just the same shape itself. So by having this thing, okay, so placement of the fork itself also play a part. It may actually distract or complement the food itself. So I try to look at the fact that the Ang Ku Kueh, see this view, we got a chance to see the layer, the behind, as well as the front. Okay, take a shot already. Go closer. See, now you can see the background. Later I'll crop. Okay, I'll go to the other side because I want to shoot the kitchen view. I'll walk over the other side. Okay, you see from here. So when we show an ambient that actually is whether homemade or cooked itself, this ambient itself is very interesting to show that you are actually eating it at your kitchen or in a cafe. And like I say, I love loft a lot because this loft area itself is very Instagrammable. So it's those people that love to shoot food, love to shoot lifestyle. This is the place. And if you all wanted to experience and share and come and actually learn photography at the same time, in this loft area, PM me and leave your message here, so that at least the next session we can actually shoot, learn, and eat together. Because there's so many food over here. See, okay, almost there already. Can done. Okay, so I'm done with this two shot. I think in view of the time, now I left with 3 minutes. So I'll go back to the Zoom, but the rest of the picture, don't worry. After I finish this whole session, I'll post it onto the artsphere.1969, the Facebook. Then you actually look at the step, which is the tips in terms of the food photography. At the same time, the pictures of the post editing and the before one, so that you can do a reference. And the key thing at this point in time, still not too late. Share it onto your own Facebook. Share it to me. I love to share in my own Facebook itself so that I can view it later on. At the same time, I also can share it to let my friend that those people never know somebody that have been trying to figure out how to take a very nice food picture, and you may be the savior. So the key thing actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the key thing actually, in fact, with this understanding, right, we can actually, in fact, after learning, we can still use it. And by sharing itself, same thing again, same thing. Your friend will actually, you never know, you are helping the next friend. And also at the same time, where we always say during the hawker, during the CB period, there's a hawker nation that started for another few like-minded people. I also feel that this is something that photography is the same thing. If we can learn, share. Like what I'm sharing is actually, in fact, it is also learning at the same time. There's so many new things, and I love food. If you love food, follow me again. So there's actually follow Axpia, and the key thing is there's more to come. So like later at 12 o'clock, and today is weekend, there's so many things to learn, and we always say, 活到老学到老, and the key thing, learning is actually is the beginning. So 我们 always 讲说，成功是给准备好的人。So with that, looking forward for the next session. Watch out and follow up on our Axpia.1969, the Facebook. There will be a next session. So just another 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, you'll see Jeff cooking mama. She's eagerly waiting at the loft ready. So, okay, everybody enjoy a good, yeah. So at the same time, not forgetting, all this kueh is actually very nice one. It's from this Delight Baker. Okay, so contact him, got the number itself and the kueh, and it's actually he also distribute in all the different hawker center and all the coffee shop. So in fact, it's very very nice. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a good weekend. So enjoy your food. Love for the love of food. Okay, good weekend. Looking forward. Bye bye. See you.